there was a huge boom in the 80s with the personal computer industry, and a lot of people got really rich really fast. Software makers like Lotus, 123, and the PC makers, and everybody was just minting money. And then, like all markets, it saturated. And so in the early 1990s in San Francisco, it was like a ghost town. Now, anybody that knows San Francisco now, even with the horrors that it's going through, San Francisco, I mean, rents, $3,000, $3,500 for a studio. And you want to buy a place, figure on seven figures,
Right.
I'm telling you, man, in the early 1990s, it was not that way in San Francisco. My wife and I moved into town. We wanted an apartment. We found one in a day. No waiting, no list, no long group of people applying. The guy was happy to see us. And we were in a nice neighborhood. We were in Lower Pacific Heights, which is a really nice neighborhood. So the economic climate of San Francisco was like devastation, right? Because the PC market had lost speed. So the dream of tech was, okay, we're going to get with these CD-ROMs. We're going to put audio on them. We're going to put video on them. Everyone's going to need to buy bigger computers. We're going to take film, and then the Hollywood said, oh, we got all these old films. We're going to turn them into interactive multimedia versions. We're going to get rich, So that was the dream. So that was the one thing that was happening. And I was looking at the numbers, and I was also looking at the quality of these interactive CD-ROMs. And I'm like, I'm not sold that this is going to go anywhere, because to make it work, you had to sell them for about $50.
Wow.
$50. And all right. So one of the big interactive CD-ROMs of the time was the Beatles. There was like a Beatles concert or something. And on a CD, or was a film about the Beatles, a documentary about the Beatles. And so, but the thing was, the video was like the size of a postage stamp, and it was like 10 frames. So it was like, it looked terrible, right? But everybody was so thrilled to see video on the internet, to see video on their PC. People were like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I was looking at it and going, it's interesting, but it's not the greatest thing ever. And the other thing too is, like, in those days, you could go to the movies for $5, or you could go to I can't even remember what they call it. Yeah, $3, right? In certain markets, right? In San Francisco, it was $5, but in normal places, it was probably $3, right? And then if you wanted to rent a video, well, gee, you could do that for $2, and all your buddies or your family could all sit around, get out the video for 3 days. I mean, this was the world we lived in. Now, again, you and I remember this world. There may be a lot of younger people on this for whom this sounds like, and then we churned our own butter. It's like, this is what the world was like pre-internet. So anyway, I'm looking at all this multimedia stuff, and I'm excited by it. It's interesting, and the people are interesting, and the energy was really high. But I couldn't see people paying $50 to watch a postage stamp size video. And they said, well, but you can see the script on the left-hand side. I'm like, well, okay, but $50?
And I think it's an important point, because you were really on the forefront of the internet, and one of the key things that you understood was, because of this conversation around multimedia and these CD-ROMs, there was the clear understanding that that consumers would interact with them in a very different way than previous media. And even I remember on movies, you'd get a movie, and there would be all kinds of other tracks there. Right. The bloopers, or there was other little videos that went along and complemented the movie, kind of as a package. That all of that has been lost as part of streaming, or to the extent it happens, it gets posted on social media or YouTube. But there was a clear understanding that this new media was going to behave very different than the old. Even though Gates did the demonstration of the stacks of media or books, or like, oh yeah, the CD-ROM holds this, but they knew it wouldn't be just a stack of books. It would have to interact differently. And I think that's one of the key lessons of your book, it really that can be translated into the future. Certainly there's plenty of monetization and a lot of that we're getting into, and I think this I'd like to get into too. But this whole idea of AI, the thing, a lot of people are generating text or generating photos, and and that's fine as far as it goes, but the innovators are recognizing that this is a very different media, as different from the CD-ROM and internet as a book, and people are going to interact with this in a very different way than they've interacted with other media. And so I think, that real lesson there in the book of understanding what was, and your deep dive into movie audio, and matching that up to the video, and then these all of that led to a very unique perspective
Right.
that the internet wasn't going to remain a text-based media where you're simply consuming text like you did in before, but instead you want to.
So if you enjoyed this clip and you'd like to benefit from more monetization secrets, go and register now for Monetization Daily. You can go to monetizationresearch.com to get it. It is a free newsletter that is absolutely awesome. It is delivered to your email inbox, and it contains lots of great monetization tips, tactics, and strategies that you will love. Again, head on over to monetizationresearch.com to get it now.